Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today, Lottie and I are going to be talking about The Last of Us, episode 8. It's entitled When We Are in Need, coming to you from HBO, streaming on HBO Max. So, what did we think about it? And should you be watching? Before we get into the review, get down there, hit the like on this video. Well, Lottie, we're at the penultimate episode. And last we checked, Joel was messed up, he was definitely out of it. Now it's on Ellie to kind of keep it together, to try to save the day. She's on her own, so to speak. And we'll see if all of those lessons she learned from Joel over the months. Because I think, Lottie, to correct me if I'm wrong, has it been almost a year that they've been on the road? Is that close? Is that correct?
Not yet.
It's like at least 8 months or so, right?
It's getting towards because they started off in spring, or is it? No.
Because it's like snowing or something in this episode.
Yeah, it started. They started off in summer, the whole journey takes about 9 months. So it's been about 6 months.
Okay, so yeah, but it's a pretty dire time of year, and their supplies and everything are running low. But they're not the only ones who are having trouble in this, over in Colorado or whatever, wherever they are, because there's another group of survivors nearby who are also, pretty hard put upon by the winter and everything. And there's some weird cult stuff going on over there, and she unfortunately ends up having to cross paths with them, and it leads to some pretty dire stuff that's going on. So but before we get into spoilers, that's the gist of it. There's a big conflict that goes on between Ellie and Joel and this group of people, and overall, I thought this was a pretty damn good episode. Like, I know we were a little bit like, last episode was cool and everything, but it didn't feel super vital. But man, this one was, it was. Now, I'll put it to you this way. I jumped up and I was like, oh shit. I said like, oh shit. And I was like, oh, I cringed at some things. I cheered. There was a lot of stuff going on in this. And besides all of that, there were some quiet moments. There were some, character building moments for the guy David, a character we meet for the first time. And I sort of knew something about this, what was going to go down in this episode, but I didn't really. But the whole, weird cult, he's like some weird, Christian cult leader or something like that. And the people are all, strangely subdued and whatever, and but he's real nice to Ellie. It's very, very off-putting. And so then when there's a final reckoning toward the end of the episode, and you really get to see who Ellie is as a person, you get to see what the lengths he'll go to, even when he's, how much of a badass he is, even at like 25% capacity, and just the kind of the depravity and ruthlessness they're capable of. It was pretty amazing to me. Like, I loved it. So anyway, that's my non-spoilery thoughts. Lottie, what'd you think?
So, okay, the episode was pretty much spot on to what was on in the game. They kind of in the game. When you first see the guy, it is very clear this guy is a weirdo. It's very
But
clear.
It's the apocalypse. Aren't there a ton of weirdos in the apocalypse?
It also there's no cult. It was just him with a bunch of weirdos. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty much spot on. I did enjoy this episode. They nerfed Ellie a little bit in this. Well, I won't say a little bit. It was quite a bit. They nerfed her quite a bit in this episode, but I understand it probably will take too long to show everything that she did. Like when we actually go into spoilers, I'll just like tell you straight up, like there was they nerfed her in this episode, but yeah, I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, I think the thing is that they could have tiptoed around some of the kind of cringe. Not even want to say cringier, but like the more difficult things about
I'm
it. But
actually shocked that they, honestly, I'm actually shocked that they straight up showed those parts. Like I
yeah,
was expecting them to like you said, like tiptoe around it. Like I thought it was going to be like like a off-screen reveal, and we just see a thumb, but they just straight up
no, no,
showed it. I
no.
was like,
Yeah, no, that's one thing. They weren't shying away. Like, I guess we can talk spoilers. We both really like. I think I may have liked it more, but I think it's because expectation was not really there for me. Beyond,
mm-hmm,
I knew that some like real, gnarly, gross, and real cringe-inducing shit was going to happen, but I didn't remember because I think you tried to explain this part of the game to me once, and don't remember it exactly. I just remember the general feeling, and that delivered that. So, but my expectations were not there to kind of like lead me to where I think things should go. But I can tell, like I know, yeah, this is a good episode for you. So, but let's say some spoilers right now. Um, Holy shit, Pedro Pascal as Joel flipped that fucking murder switch, and it was when he stabbed dude in the knee. I felt that all the way through the TV and into my knee, and like he was like, you tell me what I need, or I'll pop your kneecap off, which tells me something. It tells me he's done that shit before. And I was like, I looked at Jennifer and I was like, there's Joel the monster has just showed up. He's not playing. He came to play today, and everyone's gonna fucking die. I jumped up out of my seat with that one on the reel. Oh, that was crazy.
yeah, yeah, because like you just said, that because that was in the game where we the first time we actually saw what Joel will do for somebody he cared about, and yeah, it was exactly like how word for word, shot for shot, everything. That is exactly how it was. Also, very interesting. The voice actor for Joel,
hmm
the voice actor of Joel in the video game, was the one he stabbed in the knee.
Was it?
Yeah,
That's
Troy Baker.
Oh, wait. I thought he was the one that got killed in the meat room that she
Oh,
stabbed
I
in.
apologize. You're right. That
But
was Troy Baker. I'm thinking of another person. I'm
yeah,
sorry. You're right.
which
You're right.
by the
You're right.
way, he was really good. Like he was really good. I mean, obviously in this episode, Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, they are it. Like they're doing this shit, and especially Bella Ramsey. She as Ellie in this episode loved everything she was doing. I loved the fight she had with David at the end, and then she broke his finger and all that other stuff. Like just giving him the fucking business. Like in this episode, I can see why she would be like a main character who can go hard, cause
Uh-huh.
man, she was tough. And I know you said you thought she got nerfed, and I think in the context of a game, she needs to have a lot more. She needs to be a lot more capable because you as a player are going to be playing as her doing cool stuff. But even in here, when David says you have a violent heart, yeah, you see that shit. Like she the way she stabbed him up. Woo!
Mhm.
Not that boy didn't deserve it, but man, she literally was doing the whole stomp a mud hole and walk it dry. You know? That shit.
Mhm.
Woo! Man, I'm still thinking about it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Troy
So
Baker was good though. I liked him a lot in this episode.
so remember how the whole part where she was drawing them away?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the game, she killed almost every single one of them. and literally it was just like the weirdo guy knocked her, I caught her slipping and knocked her out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And put her in the little cage. So yeah, like they nerfed her a little bit, but it's not like I can understand why because they gotta get the story told pretty much in an hour or less. And I'm trying to remember the whole part of the where they're in the little the the like the dining area, and he's like Ellie, like that's actually a
Right.
boss
Right.
fight in the game. It's
Hmm.
actually a boss fight in the game, and you have to like find him, or because he can sneak up on you, and he's like once he catches an automatic death, you
Right.
have to start the whole fight over, and it's like you only have a knife, so you like run up to him, stab him, then run away,
Hmm.
and it's like really cool story, and I like and here's the only thing that they really switched that I really, really wish they kept in the video game, but I understand why they didn't do it in the show. In the video game, Ellie kills him. But remember how she just kept going until she just got tired? That didn't happen in the game. She did it about 4 times, and then Joel showed up, grabbed her, took the knife out of her hand, and started like telling her, "I'm here." And that's when she was like, and he's like, I know," and like he looked down at the body and then looked down at her, and then he started crying because he knew her innocence is gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's when he knew this was the death of Ellie's innocence. And it's sort of something that you see in this episode as well. But like it's going to play on for the rest of the series. You're gonna see this was sort of like this is where Ellie realizes they're in a dark world. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? She
Right.
truly understand because every other time something happened, it was she was immune with her friend. Her friend died, but she turned out she was immune. Uh, the Henry and Sam. You know what I mean? I can go down the list of like people died, but it wasn't really connected to her. This time, she literally was inches away from basically being, you know,
Yeah.
you know the R word. Of course, she would not have been that for the rest of her life because Joel was out there and was probably going to, you know,
Yeah. Bust her.
annihilate him. But still, it would have happened. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, I had heard people say that, but I think it makes sense that she kind of has to save herself, and also that she's not stopped from kind of venting her rage at this guy completely, and she's the one that has to stop herself from doing it.
Yeah.
She's the one that has to come back to her own senses. No one's slapping her in the face or pulling her off or anything like that. She does. But she's not a she's just like Joel. She's not good at kind of dealing with her trauma. Not yet, really. And so the two of them kind of are going to have to lean on each other because of that. And the whole bit with him calling her baby girl, I was like, how dare y'all do that to me here at the very end of this episode? Like, I was like he said that he probably hadn't said that exact phrase in 20 years since the last
Yes.
time he held Sarah in his arm, and that was just so hard. Like, there so many things happen in this episode that are just kind of awesome, or just there's a lot of violence, but to end it all with a moment of like kind of heartbroken tenderness was one the right thing to do, but to just kind of cleanse our palate of all of that awfulness, but also to just kind of you know finish, put an exclamation point, if you will, on
Mm-hmm.
the father daughter, surrogate father, surrogate daughter relationship being solidified. It is in stone now. There is no break. That's it. There's no more development needed. They are a father and daughter. And damn anyone who gets in between. And I love that. That's this show. Like, I've been hearing a lot. There's been a lot of complaints I see in comments or whatever about how there's not enough action, and I'm like, there is stuff. There's action. It just isn't the violent shooting, stabby kind that you're talking about. What's happening is an actual story being told about people dealing with horrible things and clinging to each other and trying to keep each other safe and everything like that. If this had no guns or no stabbing in it, it'd still be an interesting as hell story. And I'm there for that more than just like killing another damn zombie. And in fact, I'll say this: for a zombie show, not a whole lot of zombies, and I'm not too bothered by it.
Remember, I told you that. I told you about that. That everybody that never played the game and they're watching the show, I told them this is not a zombie. I've been trying to tell people this is not a zombie show. The zombies are there to get you into the show, but the show is not about that. And a lot of people are saying, okay, I see what you're talking about. I'm like, guys, don't focus on the infected. The infected are just there to create this world that they're living in. The actual story are the characters, Joel and Ellie, and the people that they come across on their journey. Mm-hmm. That is the story of The Last of Us.
Right. And like, they just so happen in this one to run across a pretty horrible dude. Like, and what's so funny is the guy was just like, hey, we could eat you. Yeah, because we're cannibals. We could eat you, but I'd rather you rule by my side. I want you to be my child bride. Because we're just alike and everything like that. And people were talking about grooming and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, there's some of that shit going on. But there's also this guy who's basically lived as the final voice of authority in this group, and he's used to getting whatever the fuck he wants, and he's decided it's her, and and no one's gonna say otherwise to him, and just having that final confrontation, like he's such a nice guy until he's not, he's like, and I think it was illustrated by the kind of like soft. Sort of, sales pitch he gives to Ellie about, joining him before she breaks his finger. And as soon as he does, it switches immediately from, we could be together and all this other stuff to he calls her, he calls her the C word. And I'm like, it switched so fast. Like, and talking about how they were going to, cut her up into little pieces. I was like, dude, he's a crazy person, and so well played. Like, I'm sure maybe he was a lot creepy, a lot more weirdo and everything in the game, but in a way, this is worse because there's this whole, religious aspect that really kind of is more realistic because we already know, we see in the news, like, you can't go a few months without seeing some other pastor or something like that, being filed, charges against them for misconduct like that. So this is a real person we could see in our world now, but in that sort of world could do whatever the fuck they want. I like that guy. He did a great job. And just made the whole episode much better because he really brought that energy and made us believe that he needed to fucking get stabbed repeatedly in a burning building. So anyway, just good stuff. I can't wait for this season finale. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm really excited about it. So, Lottie, any last thoughts?
No, that's really it. I really enjoyed this episode. Yeah, we'll see. Cause there's only one episode left, right?
Yeah, one more. So who knows?
Hold on to your pants.
I just don't know where they could go from here. So we'll see. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this episode of The Last of Us. What do you guys think about it? What you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All of that stuff helps with the channel to grow and for more people to see these videos. All right, all you Fabricants and Fleshbags, thanks for joining us. Come back next week. We're going to review the finale of The Last of Us Season 1. Until then, I've been Mode Poupée, resident fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.